Hey, sports fans, PBC Sports Chaos. And we got a lot of sports to talk about. PB, we're in the middle of the playoffs right now in MLB. We got the wild card series just wrapped up. We didn't pick them, thank God, because I would have been 1-3. We'll pick the divisional series in a second here, and we'll pick the divisions, the championship series as well. And then we'll talk some NFL because there's some interesting things going on there. And we'll wrap it up with college as well. College a light weekend, in my opinion, this weekend, but there are some good games that we're going to pick in a minute. But first of all, MLB. All right. Going into this thing, I didn't see this happening, but we got Yanks, Royals. We got Tigers playing against the Guardians. We got now. This is the way I like the NL. NL has divisional players playing against each other. You get the not the Phils. I'm sorry. The Dodgers are playing the Padres, and the Phils are playing the Mets. So that's going to be very interesting. What do you think? Let's go on the AL side. The Yanks and Royals. What do you think there?
Yeah, I mean, the Royals are playing some. I mean, the Royals and Yankees. I mean, the Royals and Tigers both. Obviously, they just went on the road.
By the way, can I interrupt you 1 second? Hey, Red Sox ownership. This is the model to follow, you idiots. That's the model to follow, not what you're doing. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. And you know what? Kansas City went on the road and beat a very good Baltimore team. Detroit went on the road and beat a very good Houston team. Houston hasn't not been in the ALCS since like 2015 or 2016 or something. So, I mean, the Tigers and the Royals right now, to me, are the hot teams. Like, they're riding the hot hand.
Hey, real quick on the Astros. Are they down? Are they going down now? Is this the end of their dynasty?
This could be the beginning of the end. It could be the beginning of the end for them. Especially with some of these younger teams. It all depends on what happens with some of these stud pitches, right? I mean, if Paul Skeens, who we know is the biggest stud in baseball right now, gets traded to the Yankees next year, right? I mean, that changes everything, right? But as things stand right now, yes, I would say that's the beginning of the end for them. So I don't have anything in my mind right now that thinks that Cleveland and New York can win these series against these teams. I think these teams are just better teams. They're hotter teams. And I think they're good on the road.
I don't know if either one of those teams are better than the Guardians or the Yankees. Maybe hotter. I will give you hotter.
I
don't think better, though.
Right. But I'm playing. But in baseball, it's a good outing on the mound. Things just change so quickly. Is it a 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7 in the LDS?
4 out of 7.
It is 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Yankees to lose 4 out of 7. My heart says, let me take the Royals in that, but my mind is saying you can't. The Yankees had too good of a year and have too much talent to not. Plus they just had to play their top pitchers to get through this series.
Yeah.
So realistically, I got to go Yankees in that series, but I am going to go Tigers over the Guardians though. I think the Tigers I think had the best record in the MLB post All-Star break. So I'm gonna ride that, and I'm gonna take the Tigers, but I'll take the Yankees.
Okay, I'm going Yanks. I'm going Guardians. I know I'm playing cliche and everything else, but I think Yankees are too tough. And I'm with you. I would love to see Bobby Witt Jr. have an outstanding series and win that thing, but Soto and Judge and that lineup is. And by the way, big boy there, I can't even think of his name now. The other 6'7" slug on the team from the Yankees. He's due to break out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a stacked team. And you know what's interesting too is that Yankees Royals is the only divisional series that's not interdivision. All the other two teams playing in the same division, right? Because you got the Tigers and the Guardians and the two in the National League we're about to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the National League real quick. So the Dodgers play the Padres. And by the way, the Dodgers, who finished with the best record in the league, right?
Yeah.
They are only 5. I was surprised to see this. They're 5-8 against San Diego this year. San Diego's on a wicked hot streak, just like you talked about with the other two teams there, the Royals and then Tigers. What do you think in this series?
Yeah, this is the same thing as the Royals and the Yankees to me. It's like I want to ride the hot hand. I want to take the Padres, but the Padres just had to play a series. They just had to use a couple of their pitches. You know, they're going to be starting at the top of the rotation and with the Dodgers. I mean, again, my heart, I kind of want the Padres to win this, but my mind just says you got to go Dodgers. So I'm going Dodgers.
I'm with you. And Shohei, who's never played a playoff game in his life, this is what he's been dreaming for. That's why he came to the Dodgers and got out of the California, right? I think he's going to blow up. And of course, you have the other two former MVPs, Mookie and Mr. Freeman, who have been studs in postseason action in the past. I bet they show up big time. I know the Dodgers have a little bit of a questionable pitching staff right now. That's their only like weakness at this point in time. But I think they win that series. But it might go 7, right? At the end of the day.
It might very well.
And the other one, this one could be like there might be blood in the stands. The Phillies and the Mets, the NL East division rivals. Whoa, this thing's and Phillies had a great year. But the Mets are so freaking out right now. Francisco Lindor is on fire. If it wasn't for the Shohei season, Francisco would probably be the MVP.
I could definitely agree with that. But here again, I'm going to go. I know it's the obvious picks, but just like you did in the American League, you didn't take any wild card yet. I took Detroit as my only wild card potentially to beat the Guardians. I'm going Phils here. Phils is just too talented.
Yeah, I think the only one that could win this one is the Padres. I think Phils win this thing easily at this point in time. And they got some pitching. They have some pitching that should be able to handle the Mets. I know they're on a roll, but the Mets got to be tired. They played that doubleheader, right, on Monday, and then right into the series on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Which is an away series, right? So they had to play in Milwaukee those 3 games. They got to be feeling somewhat fatigued at this point in time. So I'm with you. Right. Let's go. So that's what you got. So then your picks are Yanks. No, you got. I'm sorry, you got Royals, right?
No, I stayed with the Yankees. I got Yankees Tigers.
You got Yankees Tigers. I got Yankees Guardians. I got Padres. I mean, not Padres. Jesus Christ. I got Dodgers Phils. You got Dodgers Phils as well, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's flip the gears here. College football real quick. Last weekend, a couple of little things to think about. Alabama won. We all took Georgia. We thought that Georgia's might would win that game. But Jalen Milroe, the guy who said could be a Heisman Trophy winner, elevated himself to the Heisman favorite right now, in my opinion. And a great friggin' game. Awesome game last week. So we're going to pick a couple games. But a little nugget I want to give you. Indiana, we got a good fan out there that loves watching our show, Coach Rick. His Hoosiers are 5-0. They go to Northwestern as a favorite. They might be 6-0. Last time they were 5-0 was 1967 when they played in the Rose Bowl against O.J. Simpson. So good luck, Hoosiers. All right, let's make some picks here. This week's slate, so-so. But you got number 4 Tennessee going to a conference rival, Arkansas. Arkansas has been on a little bit of roll, playing tough. Tennessee's a 13.5-point favorite. What do you think in that game?
Man, point trap. You know, I don't fall into these point traps. You know, Tennessee's a better team, way more talented. This could be an absolute blowout. You know, 13.5 seems low to me, actually.
I'm with you. I think so too.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Volunteers in this one.
By the way, I've got good boy G Money. I think is taking the underdog, right? Arkansas.
He's taking Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know it's at Arkansas, but I don't see it. Tennessee is a sledgehammer right now. All right. The only ranked versus ranked game we got on the schedule this week. Number 9, Missouri goes out to number 25, Texas A&M, who slid into the poll this week. And by the way, they slid in, and now they're a 2.5-point favorite in this game. I don't see it because I believe BC could beat Texas A&M, who came close to beating Mizzou. I'm going Mizzou all the way. What do you think?
And I am too. And G Money has A&M. So what gives? Hey, just so you know, G Money is 3 games behind both me and you in college picks on this year. So, you know, if you really want to lay your money down, you don't follow G Money, you follow PB and Z.
There you go. All right. This is a good one. We got Michigan and Washington. It's a repeat of the national championship game last year. Number 10, they both have new head coaches. Both their head coaches moved on. Number 10, Michigan goes to Washington. Washington is a 1.5-point favorite in this game. They're not ranked. What is your thoughts?
Michigan's looked good in weeks of late, you know.
I didn't think they were going to do anything the previous week, and they ended up winning. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can pick against them ever again.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I'm feeling right now. And like you said, against an unranked Washington team, I know it's in Washington. There's going to be a lot of noise there, but I think when it comes down to talent, Michigan should be able to just basically they're getting a point and a half, right? Michigan. So I think
Yes,
they'll win the game. I think they'll win the game outright. I'm going to take Michigan.
I'm with you. I'll ride as well, definitely. And I know G Money's got the other way. He's got Washington, right?
Yeah, so we're opposite on all three.
All right, here's the big one in the ACC. Really not anymore, but the beginning of the year, this was going to be probably a championship preview game. It's now number 15, Clemson, going to FSU. Clemson's a 14.5-point favorite. PB, I got one thing to say. Mike Norvell, this saves his job. This game is to save his job, in my opinion, because he came to the year number 10, I think number 10, number 9, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's lost 3 games already after being left off the playoff roster when they complained about it. Now we know why. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, division game. It's in Florida State. It's going to be loud. I think if it was 14, 13 and a half, I might go Clemson, but I just think that's a little bit too much for this game. I'm going to take the points with Florida State in this one. It's 14 and a half, but
I have to as well. Mike Norvell, his players, if they love him, are going to play hard for him. You know what? If they get blown out, Norvell has to go because his players don't like him. That's the easiest thing to say about that.
wow. So you and I are the same on all our college picks, and G Money is literally the exact opposite on all four.
Absolutely the opposite. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's go to the NFL real quick. Ravens knocked off the undefeated Bills last week. Pittsburgh was undefeated. They lost. I think all the undefeated, but Minnesota lost. Oh, Kansas State's still undefeated.
Yeah.
And Minnesota in the NFC, right? That's a surprise to me that Minnesota is still undefeated. Sam Darnold's already locked up the comeback player of the year in my mind. There's no way he could lose it unless he gets injured. And he's now an MVP contender. Can you believe Sam Darnold is an MVP contender?
It's amazing. I wonder what the odds were on that at the beginning of the year.
And by the way, Rashid Rice, I know he's your receiver in our Survivor League. He may be out for the year thanks to Patrick Mahomes knocking him out with a tackle on his knee.
That was a freak play, though, right? Because it was a pick. First of all, Mahomes way overthrew his receiver, and then the guy brings it back, and Rashid Rice makes a very good defensive play as an offensive player, and just going after that ball. And then Mahomes, the way he went in was, I mean, it wasn't aggressive. He went in like shy. Like Rashid Rice was all like, Mahomes like gets down like this and puts his shoulder right in his kneecap. Like,
he knocked out his own. He didn't see what he was hitting.
He knocked his own best guy out of the game, out of the season.
Yep.
Oh, that was brutal. I felt bad for Rashid Rice after that play. I'm like, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I totally agree. The other shocker to me was who was it? Was it the Colts? The Colts beat the Steelers, right? And it wasn't because of Anthony. What's his name? Richardson. I want to call him Stevenson. It was because Joe Flacco. I mean, is Joe Flacco 70 or 60? I forget. Joe Flacco, once again, he's now won his last 5 games in a row. He won the last 3 for Cleveland last year, 4, and now he's won this one. It's unfreaking believable. Joe Flacco is still around and still slinging the ball. It's crazy. That's good for him. You know what? As an older guy, good for him.
He's got a nice little receiving core there too.
He does. All right. Yeah. Hey, by the way, Von Miller's out for 4 games due to suspension. The Bills, we'll talk about that. We're going to pick that game in a minute. They're going to be in trouble, I think. Devontae Adams is done probably playing for the Raiders. Do you agree?
It looks that way. Everything is pointing in the direction of him getting traded. And right now, Pittsburgh, the New York Jets, the Saints.
And the Saints.
Yeah, there's some Chiefs even. I mean, it'd be interesting to see where he lands. Obviously, the best place for him to land, in my opinion, is the Jets. With Aaron Rodgers throwing to him.
Oh, yeah. But you know what's funny? He would really like to play with Derek Carr again.
That'd be interesting.
College teammates. They did pretty good together with the Raiders for the Raiders, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's make some picks. You ready to do some picks? By the
Yeah,
way,
let's do it.
we're criticizing G Money, but he went 4-2 in the NFL last week, right?
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah, him and I went 4-2. You went 3-3. All right,
Yep.
let's start right out with the morning game. The Jets. We just talked about them. They go to that Sam Darnold led team. Play against the Sam Darnold led team in Vikings in London. 9:30 in the morning for us in the East Coast. What do you think of this game?
I don't know. The Jets are so up and down, you
They are.
know. And Minnesota's been pretty consistent, and they've beaten good teams. We can't say, oh, they've played the sisters of the poor. They've played some really good football teams. Everyone was all high on the Jets after they beat the Patriots, but me and you and G Money could probably line up a team and beat the Patriots. So I mean, I'm not really that impressed with the Jets win over the Patriots. And until I see something different there, it's hard for me to take them. I'm gonna go Minnesota.
I gotta go Vikings as well. I gotta go. What did G Money say?
I think Money took the Jets. He did.
Wow,
He's
wow.
against us in everything, and we're the same in everything so far. All
All
right.
right, probably the one. This might be the best game of the weekend. Baltimore, a division rival, plays Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Baltimore finally showed something last week against Buffalo when they manhandled Buffalo, in my opinion. Absolutely manhandled. Derrick Henry is still King Henry in my mind. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, and I think Baltimore is starting to really come together. They obviously started 0-2. They've won two straight since then. Beat two really good opponents, including the Cowboys, and the Bills. Right.
Yep.
Cincinnati, on the other hand, they started 0-3 and they beat the lowly Carolina Panthers last week.
Right.
It's in Cincinnati. It's a division rival. So that makes it very, very hard to pick.
It does. Yep.
This is the type of game I could see Cincy maybe squeaking it out, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cincy wins this game. But I'm tired of kicking against Baltimore. I picked against them against Dallas and I lost. I picked against them against Buffalo and I lost, and I'm not going to do it again. So I'm going to take Baltimore this time to beat Cincinnati on the road.
I heard Michael Wilbon today on the PTI show say that he believes Baltimore, if they win this game, they're the best team in the AFC, even though they've already lost once to KC. But he thinks they right the ship. So I'm going Baltimore as well. And I believe G Money went with his boy Joe Burrow, right?
He did. So you and I once again have the same pick, and he has the opposite pick on 6 straight now.
You just mentioned Dallas. They lost. They beat the Giants. I'm sorry, but they lost. They lost DeMarcus Lawrence. They lost Micah Parsons. The cornerback, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He's going to play this week, but he came out for a while in that game. But Micah's out for 4 weeks. Lawrence is out for 4 weeks. They go to Pittsburgh. You've not been a Pittsburgh fan all year. They lost last week, even though I convinced you to pick them. But what do you think this week? Its game is at Pittsburgh, and Dallas, who cannot stop the run, now loses to their two best defensive players.
Yeah, I still think Dallas's offense though can compensate for that. And I've been picking against Pittsburgh, and I'm going to do it again. I got Dallas in this game.
Trayvon Diggs is the cornerback I'm thinking of.
Trayvon Diggs, yeah.
I so want to pick the Cowboys. You've got a guy who I consider potentially an MVP candidate, Micah Parsons, and DeMarcus Lawrence, who's a Pro Bowl player. Those two guys out, and they can't stop the run at all. And Pittsburgh can run the ball. I got to go with Dallas at this point in time. I mean, I'm sorry. I got to go Pittsburgh. I got to go Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. So you're on the side of G Money this time with Pitt.
I think
I'm going to take Dallas, which means
okay.
I've been opposite on G Money in every single pick so far.
All right, probably the second biggest game other than Baltimore and Cincinnati. That's a divisional game. But Buffalo and Houston, which is a conference game, two of the favorites going into this year in Houston. The Bills, like Dallas, get injuries. They got Von Miller, their best pass rusher, suspended for 4 games. They're coming off a bad loss. What do you think?
Yeah, and you still got Mixon's out officially now for Houston again this week. And Pierce doesn't look too promising either, which means Akers will be leading that backfield again. I think Tank Dell's questionable. We don't know his status yet. I think Buffalo had a little, wake up call last week, and I think they bounced back. I don't think Buffalo's the type of team that lets something like that affect them. I think it actually motivates them,
Okay.
and I'll be looking to Buffalo to go on the road and win this one in Houston, just like the Astros losing at home in the AL in the wild card. I think the Texans lose at home as well to Buffalo. I'm on the Bills this one. My first pick, the same as G Money, by the way. G Money has the Bills too.
It's in Houston. I think the losses that Buffalo has with injuries this week is going to hurt them a lot. I give you that point about it was a wake-up call losing last week, but I also think it was a formula to beat them too. And I'm going Houston, which can give you the same formula that they saw last week. So I got Houston.
All right.
All right, Saints at Kansas City. This one, I was so tempted, but I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, it's Casey. I know they got all kinds of injuries and all kinds of problems, running back problems now. Kareem Hunt's supposed to stop, but he's even questionable. Steele can't hold on to the football. They're kind of a hot mess with Rice out. I think Xavier Worthy is going to be the man now, and I think Kelsey's going to start to step up too and really get back to his old form a little bit.
He did a little bit last week, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't pick against Kansas City. How often do you or I pick against Kansas City? Very, very rarely, especially it's in
Let me
Arrowhead.
ask you a question though. If this was in New Orleans, would you still pick Kansas City?
I would. I would. I think it would be a closer game, and I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe Kansas City lost if they did, but I would still pick them.
I would
at
say
home.
if it was in New Orleans, I'm picking New Orleans in that game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm
But you
giving
take
them the
Kansas City.
home field advantage only to win this game. I think those injuries will hurt them a little bit. It'll be a tough game. Saints can run the ball. And Derek Carr is showing he's not a slouch. So, but Casey will win by a field goal.
All right. All three of us
Last
are
game.
all three of us are in on KC that one.
All right. The last one. We're only picking this because right now the loser of this game is going to be in last place in the AFC East. And the Dolphins, and I've heard a number of people that supposedly know more than you and I that are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. They say that Miami is legitimately the hottest mess in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Tua, and the defense has been kind of shaky as well. They go to the Pats. By the way, the Pats, a couple of little turns the other way last week. They played fairly good against San Fran. I know their offensive line sucks. It's in New England. I'm going to say right now, I'm taking New England.
Yeah, and G Money's taking New England too, and I'm on the fence with this one. Jalen Phillips, by the way, is out for, I think, the year too. So we can go with it. So there goes one of your pass rushers, right, on the Miami side of the football. You're right. The team that loses this game is not only the worst team in the AFC East. I think they might be the worst team in the AFC. Oh, and they might also be the worst team in the NFL. So the loser of this game, I think, is going to be crowned the shittiest team in the NFL. And it's the perfect matchup for it because both these teams right now suck really bad.
Yeah.
So who's going to suck less is the question. And here's what it comes down to for me. I think Snoop Huntley can at least manage an offense. I think he can run the ball when he needs to run the ball.
He can. You're right. It's a big factor. Yes.
He's got Tyreek Hill and he still has Jalen Waddle and Hill that are both very healthy right now.
Yep.
And you're talking about a Patriots team. Jacoby Brissett cannot throw. He can't hit the backside of a barn right now. The guy will be lucky if he gets 100 yards past him. And their offensive line, to your point, sucks. So
I will defend him. He has absolutely no time. He has the least amount of time in the NFL to throw a ball.
But that being said, he's still.
And his receivers are getting no separation.
No separation. I'm not confident in his legs at all. I'm not confident in the offensive line to open up the run game. I'm not confident in the offensive line to open up the defense. I think the Patriots put up, like they do, like I said, they're a 10 to 13 point team every single week in and week out. And I think Miami can score 14 or 17 in this game. I do. Just because of Tyreek Hill, because of Waller, because of Snoop's legs.
So you're going Miami.
I'm taking Miami, and it's not because I live down here and all this stuff. I'm analyzing this game. These are two teams that I know very well, and I just think there's more talent on the Miami football side. So I'm going Miami.
100% agree, but this Patriots team beats Cincinnati, which has as much talent almost as Miami. So I got to give them some credit. I think they find a way to pull this one out.
All right. Okay. So we're different there.
All right, man. All right. Good show.
Very
Talk to you
good.
soon. Take care,
All
man.
right.